What's up, everyone? This is the opening semifinal round for the rookie division. There's going to be new wind directions. So each round, if you played the qualifier, play the semifinal, play the final, wind directions are going to change per round. However, yours are going to look exactly like mine. So you can see my wind here is pointed at like 430. Your wind also is going to be pointed at 430. So one of the things that, I'll usually try to do is just kind of size it up. And you can just kind of see this is with relation to the hole, it's going to be coming in almost at a side angle for this. So a couple different things we could do. We can try to utilize practice. We can just kind of go for it. If you guys caught my qualifier, I used all free-to-play balls, which means that there were none of the premium balls. We're going to mix in premium balls now. It's a perfect time to start pulling them out. And also a perfect time, especially if you're using premium balls, to start thinking about things like Holy Driver and why. Why would you use this club? You're giving up yardage. But take a look at the ball guide, 90 ball guide. So shot view 90%. So it's going to show you 90% of the rollout. So this is one of the best reasons to utilize this club is because of that. So when we come in here, what was it, a 4 that I just set up? I think it was a 4. Let me just pop out real quick. Yep. So you should be also getting yours up to this, or at least somewhere similar. So the other thing to keep in mind is we're going to want to go pretty close to the max here in terms of getting our distance down. So one of the things that you're going to see is, and I kind of want to showcase these a little bit because they've been putting out special packs. And these special packs are making it a lot easier to do shots like backspin. And this is a perfect example of when we might utilize the backspin, because you can see it takes my 2.5 bars and it makes me be able to go down to up to 5.5. And what this is going to do is it's just going to really help us control the shot, try to get it more towards the edge of the fairway here. And the other things is, especially if you're getting the pins, you can see we can get these power ball pins as well. And this might be a good time, potentially, if you have 2 spots. I only have 1, but once you get to veteran, it could be a possible just to kind of extend the power just slightly. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that, which is okay. But I just want to at least, mention it to guys that it might be able to take advantage of that. So you can see for a 2.6 wind, we're talking about, a little over a ring. And we might just go a little overplay here. Maybe just a tad bit of curl as well. Let's just see what this looks like. We're trying to get this one down as far as possible without rolling out of the fairway. Why? If you guys remember, this second shot, to stay within wedge range, which needs to be very, very close to this edge. So here you can see, here's the max line. So this is the why, as to why we're trying to get to this edge here. It's to stay within wedge range. So in here you can see my ball guide is almost right on the hole. So this is a good indicator for you guys. If you guys drive it to a very similar spot, you'll be able to replicate what I'm doing here. Especially if you have a hip 6 or whatever, you just utilize whatever the value kind of tells you in this app. And since we increase the backspin, we'll be able to utilize full backspin if we want. And you can see that starts creating a little bit of hook fishtail on this shot view. So you can see that it creates this potential for us to bring this in and make this in the back of the hole. So you can see this extra fishtail, and we wouldn't have had this much backspin otherwise. So let's just take a look at what this looks like at max club, and we're going to go very close to this max number. 2.6, maybe just stay just a little bit under 2.6 because we're not quite at the max line. And this would be something along the lines of, 95%, 97%. This is a good indicator of a time when to break out just a little bit different than max club. So if we go 253, somewhere like that, it's going to look like right in here. And let's just see what this looks like. So it's coming in very nice. There's the hook. Oh, so it just came in just a little bit too hot. So just, a tweak less of backspin or just getting it behind the hole just a little bit more. But you can see how much more precise we can get. A, with the power ball. B, with the high wind resistance. And C, with the extra shot, backspin control. We're able to really get aggressive. So these really can contribute to your score in a big way. So these are the type of things that you want to think about, especially as you're an early and developing player, because you could see, how much more effective you can be with utilizing some of this stuff. So you can see here, I have that pin. It's taken off now. So we're going to try, let's just see what it looks like with the Spectra. And these are perfect holes to pull out these practice pins. So, one of the things that I'll try to do here is I'll usually try to crowd the hole a little bit. So let's just call this, just a little bit short of one ring. Now, why would we do this? Is because the ball, it's going to come in with more backspin and more wind effect than what you're seeing on the hole. And the other thing that you'll see, let's just say we're 2-3 rings from max, 2.5 rings maybe. So let's just try a 2.5 ring adjustment. And you can see what my ball guide looks like just through the hole. And let's just use it as a reference. That's what we're doing as a reference. So if we go 2-5 rings with the ball guide pointed towards the hole, our spin is straight backspin. So we're not utilizing any left, no right. It's just straight backspin. With a 3-0, we're just going to try, and we're going to do 2.5 rings. I'm just going to put it right on 2.5. We're just going to put it right on the 2.5 for a 3-0. And let's just see what happens. And this is, the reason to practice is because of this. So you can see just a little bit to the, left of the hole, a little bit through. So when we actually play this shot, I'm going to play it just a little bit tighter than that. So since I can see, now I see exactly what happened. We're going to do a very similar shot, but with a slight iteration. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this ball guide just a little bit farther away and kind of like on the right edge of the hole, kind of like this. So you can see now I'm putting it maybe 1.3 rings from the hole versus, before I had it, 1.0 or 1.1. We're increasing the distance we are, and then we're just going to go the new ring amount that it tells us, which is 235. So for this shot, same thing. We're going to line up our target. We're going to go 235 on the ring adjustment because it's a smaller wind. We had no problem with the ring adjustment on that first shot. And all this is doing is it's starting to get us more honed in. Let me just try to get this right on this tick mark. And that looks right about 235. So let's just give this a go. And this is our live shot. So this is the one that's going to count. But this is the importance of practice, is we're able to just start honing in. And sure enough, there it is, hole in one, just like that. So the practice is going to be your friend. It's going to teach you more about this game than you would have otherwise. Regardless of what clubs I have, you could see, these clubs, I'm not supposed to be very competitive. However, I am, because of the practice concept, plus having that extra, practice ability, plus the pins, plus, there's a variety of different factors that are making this, that much easier for us. Now, this hole specifically is going to be a good opportunity to maybe utilize like an extra ball power. This is a perfect example. Maybe going an extra 5%. What that's going to do is it's going to let me get up to this corner. It's also going to help me for the second shot. You can see we have a little slight tailwind here for this round. And we're going to utilize this holy driver again. You can see how much ball guide it has. This is the why as to why to use this club. And we just want to land right here and just get this down here as far as possible. And let's just see what power looks like. A little bit of power is okay, but not too much. So you gotta really control your power on this hole. So 157. So, a little bit of power might be okay, but you don't want to go too out of control. I'm not even going to need power because I could just kind of push the target above my north line. So I'm just going to push it, as you can see, where my north line is. I'm just going to push it just a little bit to the left so it just kind of gets an extra, couple yards off the tee. But let me show you, why we utilized that little bit of extra power. I just want to make sure that I stay within range here. So, and this is a perfect example. You can see we're going to be able to swap our bag. It's we want to be able to use root, for example. Root Bigfoot. So we're just switching our bag up, and you can see now we're still in power range. Now, you might not have to use that power pin, but I just want to show you, especially if you want to stay in club range here, you're going to leave club range if you don't. So that's kind of the why as to why you would utilize that. And I'm just going to utilize just a little bit of right spin. And this is probably maybe 2 to 3 rings from the min line. So let's just go ahead. We'll get this all set up. Keep in mind this is live, so we don't have a choice in this situation. So this is 5 rings. This is 10. Yeah. So this is about a 10 ring club span. We're going to put it 2 rings from min. We're going to always utilize our full backspin, try to get ourselves in control. And with a 2-4 wind, it's telling me close to the min line, 2 rings from, 1.6 rings. So we're going to rotate this screen, put the wind right at 12 o'clock here. And we're just going to go 1.6 rings. So that's maybe a tick mark more. That's 1.6 right there. So let's just give this a go. Just coming in real nice, just a little bit short. So the only thing is I didn't put that ball guide tight enough to the hole. So, you know, I wasn't really aware of how close I was to the hole there in terms of rings. But if you count my rings with my initial setup, let's say I was 2.5 rings. If you just put it 2.4 rings from the pin, it's just going to get you that much closer. Now, like I said, I don't know what the actual number was, but it's a very droppable hole, and you can get the double eagle. That's one of the hardest holes in the game, especially for rookies. They don't understand how guys are getting down there and, you know, hitting it and getting potential double eagles there. So that's just a good way of just showing, you know, and especially new players, you know, how it's being done. So do keep that in mind. And one of the things that you'll want to do here is, you know, a lot of times I try to get up here as far as possible down this fairway. We're not going to utilize practice here. Let me just go re-enable my subscription. So my subscription for the Guide to Ultimate Golf, it just works a little differently. So you'll see that I just get kicked out from time to time. And we're going to just, you know, keep these balls. You know, I did use, it's the same concept, you know, with the, let's just say I was using Mojaves or the Pro D1s, for example. It's the same concept, but especially with a tailwind, it's going to make for a little bit easier shot. We're going to have a little bit more control if we come at this with the premium ball. Plus, it makes for small ring adjustments. So very tiny ring adjustments. And I just want to kind of split my content up so, you know, we have a little bit for both. That'll help both people. And this was about, you know, maybe 3 rings from min here. So we're just going to do something like this. Down here, right around 3 rings for min. For example, 127 on the ring adjustment. So super tiny ring adjustment. That's about 1.3. Maybe right in there. Let's try this. Give this a go. And like I said, with the tailwind, this specifically, it'll try running out a little extra on you if you don't. So just maybe 1 tick mark too much. But also, you know, I got to keep that ball guide even a little bit shorter. And let's say you are playing, this is going to be a lot harder to control if you were playing that shot with the Spectra like that. And you're trying to control it in this tailwind. So that's a perfect, if you want to keep that tiebreaker high, we're talking 875, to 890. If you want to keep that tiebreaker in that range, it's going to be much easier to play that shot with the premium ball, getting that wind down to 2-3 miles per hour versus needing to play a 10 mile per hour or 8 mile per hour tailwind, because it's just going to make that ball guide stretch out. So that hole specifically is definitely going to be one of the better ones for you guys to really, you know, focus on, you know, just any old ball. Let's just take a look at what the Spectra looks like here with a Mojave. Like I said, I do want to kind of split my content up and kind of do stuff for both people to where everybody can benefit. So let's just take a look at what 1% extra looks like. just to get myself a little bit closer to the hole. And I think it's just going to help me with the ball guide. So let's just, for reference, just say this is 7 bars of backspin. I have it pretty much exactly on the line. And let's just call this, just for ease of simplicity here, we're going to call this 7 and 4. And you can see I'm kind of pointing it right at the 4 edge, right at the 7's edge. And let's just take a look at our alignment. And you know what? I'm actually going to up this, and I'm just going to do full side, because I could see that the ball guide still is going to try to come in just a little bit. And you can see what I'm doing with my ball guide. I'm just kind of straightening it out and just aligning it with the hole. All this is doing is helping me with my initial setup here. And what we're going to do for this one is we're just going to push this up to the max line. We're going to fix this wind angle, kind of like similar to this. And let's just see what it tells me for my ring adjustment. 5.9, for example. So, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to utilize practice again. These holes are beautiful for practice. Now, we're just going to mentally make note of what we did, and we're going to go this 5.9 for this ring adjustment as well. There's 5.0. We're going to go a little beyond that. You see with what I'm doing. Now let's just try this, see what it looks like. We'll just call that the 5.9. Oh, did they shift it on me? I think it got shifted on me. So I think the 7.5 is going to be the live wind. So let's just relook at this, because I think I need to go more. So that's one thing that you got to be careful of. So let me just get this re-punched in. Sorry that I lost that adjustment mid-adjustment, but sometimes that just happens with my subscription. So we're going to realign that wind right at the max line. It says 6.52. So if we're at 5.9, we're going to keep going. This is going to be more where we're at for the live shot, because it's going to push back to the 7.5 number. We're going to go this little bit extra. 6.5. That's right around 6.5. Let's just see what this looks like. Oh, I hope that doesn't play. Especially when we're utilizing practice. You can see it's coming in just a hair to the right. The ring adjustment looks good though. So 2 ways to fix this. We can either use our alignment and just say, okay, we're this much to the right, and we'll just shift it and use the exact same ring adjustment. So that's about the end. And since our weight was perfect, that might be the easiest way to correct this. And you can see this is exactly what I was talking about. The wind is going to be live. We're just going to utilize all that side spin. We're going to tweak this and just touch the left spin and get this right where we had it last time, like kind of right on the edge. Right here. Oh, sorry about that. And like I mentioned, we're just going to kind of tilt this. Since it came in and it was just to the right of the hole, we're just going to kind of more play this slope. Plus, I think this might include just a little bit of an overpull. And all we're doing is just tilting it off center. And what this is going to allow us to do, and remember what I said about this live shot, it's going to be that 5.9 number that we were doing before. So as you can see, 5.9. And it should be true to that adjustment. So let's give this a go. This is 5 rings right here on the edge of the target. Just going to get our alignment set. And we're just going to overpull to the 5.9-ish. let's just give this a go. Keep in mind, this is with the Mojave ball. It's free to use, free to earn. You can see it's coming very good online. Oh, so just short. So like I said, you know, we can utilize that practice. You can make just slight mods, slight tweaks to what I'm doing. And you guys can hone in on the hole even more than me. You're going to have the same wind angle. And this is a free ball to use. So you can see we get our tiebreaker very, very high. We get to play very aggressive for that par 3. No reason we couldn't have had that ace there. So it's just going to be one of those things that you guys are just getting, you know, that much stronger of players with. Now, this hole has been a bit of a bear. And if you guys can't see it, there's a huge slope here that if we can get up on top of that, it's going to make this hole a lot easier. So this is the time that I kind of want to just point it out to you guys. Let's just see if we can't get ourselves a pin. And I'm thinking something along the lines of like a driver wood pin. Multiple stats by 20%. And the goal, like I mentioned, is just to try to force this ball up this hill. Keep the wind small is a perfect example of trying to keep the wind small and try to get up on top of this hill. Just like you see this ball guide right here. So we're going to keep this ball guide over to the left and try to force it up this hill, up on the left side. And 2.2 on the Holy Driver. Let's just reset things, see what it looks like. 1.2 rings. Oh, but this is a driver. You got to keep in mind this is a restat. So you're going to want to go beyond this. So I'm going to go more like 1.5. There's a certain percentage that you're going to want to use. Like once you map this out, you'll be able to figure out, you know, maybe 25% extra, for example. And it's because the accuracy has shifted. So since the accuracy has shifted for this, we're going to go just a little bit extra. Let's just see if this is correct. If it gets up this hill exactly how we want it. And just remember, you'll want to do something similar. You really want to force this ball up this hill. When you get up this hill, like I just did, we're going to be in double eagle range. So that's the significance. That's the why portion as to why we force this ball up this hill. You can see here's the max line. This is about 2 rings for max. We start to utilize this backspin. And you can see it's just kind of, you know, allowing us to get more aggressive. And if you have a second pin and you can bring a backspin pin to the game, if you can bring a backspin pin here, you can get even more aggressive than me for this shot. So if you have enough room to bring 2 pins, or if you have higher than because you can see I only have a Bigfoot 6. So as soon as we get to Bigfoot 7, we can start to crank the backspin even higher than I'm able to go. And if you can get the backspin even higher, it's going to be that much more holeable for you. So keep that in mind. Just going to go ahead and kick this out real quick. %. And as you can see, we were about 2 for max. So we're going to just set this up, kind of 2 for max. Oh, I actually think this span is, I don't know if you caught one of my other streams, but there's 2 different short irons and they have different ring spans. So I'm going to change this back to the Spectre one, which is only about 7. So there's only about 7 total rings from Spectra 4 to Bigfoot 6. So we're going to default it back to this 7. And we're going to say we're 2 rings from it. 1.5 is the ring adjustment. But like I said, this is going to come in just a tad bit high. or a tad bit hot, sorry. So this shot specifically, it's going to come in just a tad hot. And you also want to avoid that fringe. So make sure, if anything, you're doing a slight over pull. If we even land a tick mark on that fringe, it's going to shoot longer. So you got to be a little bit cautious with that. Let's just see what we can do here. You can see here's the effect of only having a 6. So it comes through and we only get 1636. If you guys have a second pin, or if you have a little bit longer driver that you can utilize, having that second pin option being or 100% backspin on that Bigfoot, you're going to be able to get that much more aggressive. You might be able to double eagle that. So if you see guys getting very aggressive tiebreakers there, that's how they're doing it. So keep that in mind. Best of luck on that hole, guys, because those 2 par 5s that we've played so far, those are going to be the hardest ones that everybody is going to be struggling with. And this is another really great hole to try to get this down here as far as possible. I'm going to try to keep this out of this tree with some side spin. Let's just look at what this ball guide looks like north. It really doesn't change much. So, adding power to this shot doesn't really add a lot of value. All I'm going to do is just put it right on the edge here. Maybe just a tad bit of curl. So we're going to try to stay fairly aggressive with this one. Here's the max line. This is 2 for max. We do want to keep this on the green now. So what you're going to see that I do is I'm going to play this ball guide real tight. I don't want this one that's just kind of firing down the hole. So we're going to keep this a lot tighter. Similar to this. We're about 2 for max, like I mentioned. So we're going to keep that in mind. We'll keep that 2 for max. 1.77 it's saying. We're just going to keep the ball guide kind of right here. 1.77 on the ring adjustment. We're going to try to stay fairly aggressive with this without getting too cute. So, and that's the key here, guys. Especially on this downslope. Try not to get to where this ball guide is going to be firing down that hill. Because it will go all the way off the green if you're not careful. So as you can see, I went maybe just a little bit heavy on my ring adjustment. As long as we can keep this tiebreaker point, that'll be very key. I wanted to stay aggressive, give it a chance to roll in. If you put the ball guide too much up the hill there, what's going to end up happening, guys, is you're just going to basically just be playing for close and not actually giving it a chance to go in. So I'm getting like a little bit cute to try to pull it down the hill a little bit, but not enough that it rolls off that green. You don't want to throw away those tiebreaker points there. Tongue-tied there a little bit. But as you can see, we are in good position here. And what I like doing on this hole is just kind of taking it to the edge. Just a little bit. Let's just see if I can get back in here real quick. actually kicked me out. So I have a timeline. I only have 30 minutes. I have to go restore this. Let me just restore this real quick. Sorry about the delay, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. So 2.7, we're just going to reinstate this. It's saying 1.5 on the ring adjustment. I'm just going to push my rings this time. It's a little bit easier adjustment here. And we're trying to keep this, if we can, to wedge range. You can see we set up and we're not quite to where we want power-wise. I'm just going to kind of just gently. Now, be careful if you are doing this. Don't overdo it. But the other thing that you could do is just a little bit more topspin. I'm hoping this will come in just a little bit more controlled to where it doesn't roll out too much. So you can see that, you know, I'm being mindful of how much that I put topspin because I don't want it running out of the fairway. And you can see, you know, this is the reason why we're doing this, is because we knew we were going to be very close to the max number here. Another thing that you guys can do is this might be a good time to pull out a ball power pin. So something like this, because you know you're going to be right at this edge here. So anytime you're right at max club, what's going to happen is this ball guide, it's going to collapse all the way down. So even though, you know, you don't usually utilize topspin for your wedge, at 100% it's okay. Because what's going to happen is it's just going to check up. So we can still get aggressive with this topspin, for example. Because at the max line, like I'm telling you guys, right at the max line, it's going to have a lot of natural backspin. Think of it as like 4 extra bars. So it's going to play, instead of 2 backspin or 2 topspin, it's going to play more like 2 backspin. It's going to be very, very controlled. And at 2.7, I think it's going to be almost 2.7 rings. So it's saying 2.8 on the rings at max line. So we're going to go about 2 topspin here. And just watch how controlled this is. This is going to really start to teach you guys about wedges. So if you're paying attention to this video, you're going to be learning a big concept that is very important and definitely going to be helpful for you to start mastering. So you can see that's about 2.8 rings right at the max line, just like I mentioned that it would be. And, you know, we might be able to even go more topspin than this. But just watch this shot. Look how it's coming in. Do you see how it's very controlled? It just stops. So we were very aggressive there. 2 topspin was about perfect. But keep in mind, you'd have to have a very similar ball guide for yours to play out exactly like mine. And if you can get just a little bit farther or have just a little bit extra power option, going to be that much. Keep in mind, if you use like a Mojave there, you're going to go outside of wedge range because the wind's going to be higher. You're not going to have this extra 10% ball. So utilizing a special ball there, especially because it's going to be holeable, is a really smart thing to do for that hole. Is you want to stay fairly aggressive there. And that's the way to stay fairly aggressive. You know, and why not, you know, like I mentioned, I want to kind of, you know, split my content up for guys. So we'll go back to a free-to-play ball here. Maybe even a high flight is a possibility. But I'm going to keep this power restored. And we're just going to do it like this. Maybe a little bit of power. And we're going to try to just land right up in here with some power. Or I'll just push the target back up to max. So 8-9, it's saying 5 rings. So we're going to go 5 rings. And then I'm just going to push this target up to max and see if it's on the fairway. If it is, perfect. So is the target on the fairway? It's a little bit short. So you can see when I have it north, 5 rings over, it's maybe landing right there. We want to make sure that this lands on the fairway. So we're going to just go ahead and utilize full power. If it doesn't hit that fairway, is the only way we're going to put ourselves in trouble on this hole. And you can see this is a free ball for you guys to use. It's going to be better than the rewards that we can win for this tournament. So it's a perfect opportunity for you guys. And we didn't even have to use any power pins, anything. We just kind of get it up here. And there's going to be two ways to play this shot. One is set up like this. Pull our rings down to the min line. I'm going to say that's not the best way to go. I would go lightning rod. Now, one of the things that I should have done was prepare a little bit better for this lightning rod shot and bring more backspin to the table. But we're not going to be able to do that now. We're going to utilize our backspin. And you can see with what I'm doing with alignment, it's going to be staying and kind of utilizing this ball guide extension, using my grid line as an extension. We're going to go lightning rod here. 8-7 is telling me 10-10 rings. Now, just pay attention to how short my ball guide is, because that's going to dictate how much it rolls out. This is going to help you guys if you have similar shots. Now, I'm going to just try to do 10-10 in one pull, because it's not the easiest adjustment. Anytime that you leave one full bullseye. But you can see this had almost 2 backspin on it at max club with a tailwind, which means the ball guide's going to stretch out. But let's just, just pay attention to these bounces, because it's going to show you how far it rolls out. So you guys can do even just a little bit better than me on that shot. And you can also, I might have gone just slightly more than 10.10. A lot of times I'll do that because wind effect. I don't want the wind effect carrying it too much to the left. So you can maybe even go 10 straight up on your ring pull. But you can see how short my ball guide was. And we're at 14 under. So let's just take a look at what the tiebreakers look like. You can see the best round so far, 20, 22. We really are excelling very well. We're on pace for 28 under. However, the back 9 is only going to be a par 9. So keep in mind that we're only going to, they're all par 4s on the back. So we're only on pace for 9 extra, unless we get some extra eagles thrown in there, which we're going to try to do. So I'm going to try to walk you guys through that. But we're on pace for at least 23 under. And this just goes to show you, and all we need to do is qualify for this round. The next round is going to be our scoring round. So all we got to do is make sure that we get through. I'm trying to put this guide together to give you guys the best chance to get through. You're going to have the same wind angles as me, and you're going to be able to utilize these shots and do very similar techniques. Hopefully you guys are taking advantage of these pins and ball combinations that they're putting down the shot in the shop. It's some of the best that I've seen across all platforms, all the different various golf platforms and games. It's really great package deals, and especially being able to have the freedom to put that power ball on or off and just kind of take it on or off on the hole. It just makes for very easy playing. It's very easy to score well on these games, on these tournaments. So best of luck out there. Let me know how it's going. I'm going to split this content up front and back. I'm going to try to post the back 9 a little bit later today. I want to go and do the front for my pro division. So if you guys are waiting for that rookie content, be on the lookout for it. Keep in mind, we still have until tomorrow night. So you don't have to go and shoot all 18 holes right now. Do it when you can. I'm going to do my best to get you guys the back 9 guides as well in a timely fashion. So best of luck out there. Let me know how you did, and see you guys on the back 9 soon.